Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now here in my hands, this is the GlassHarrier Takedown Recurve bow from the company Creative XP. Now Creative XP is a company whose products we've looked at in the past, everything from their Glass Owl infrared binoculars to their Glass Condor infrared monocular, the Glass Eagle Red Dot on my Outer Limitless 2 channel, and now here the GlassHarrier. So the GlassHarrier, this particular model being a recurve takedown bow. There are a number of different GlassHarrier models. So from their compound bow to here, their recurve bow in a wood laminate, and they also have a recurve bow in aluminum. So very cool, great products. At this point, every single Creative XP product that I've used has worked fantastic. So for me, this GlassHarrier being a takedown recurve bow, to be completely honest with you, I have never gotten into archery at all. I mean, I've shot bows from time to time throughout my life, but I've never been into it myself. So Creative XP doing me a favor, reaching out, asking if I'd be interested in checking this out and getting into archery. And well, how could I say no to that? So thank you very much to the people at Creative XP who did provide this for review. Now again, this particular model, this is the GlassHarrier. So as you see here, the GlassHarrier right on this limb. Now there are a number of different limb weights. I had to make some decisions. So Creative XP sending me 30-pound and 40-pound limbs. Now you can get 30, 40, 50, or 60-pound limbs. And for me, really getting into this for the first time, I didn't want to struggle. I wanted to work on form. I wanted to get everything kind of the way I needed to, so I thought going a little bit lighter would be advantageous. Now, personally, I plan on using the 40-pound limbs, but I also plan on really getting my son into archery as well. If I'm going to do it myself, I might as well bring him along with me. So Creative XP offering me both sets, the 30 and 40-pound limbs. And so when I say takedown bow, well, that's the reality. This can absolutely be taken apart, packed up, put in a pack, put in some sort of a case, and brought with you, which is really cool. Very, very simple and nothing to it. And so with that said, let's take a look at the packaging, how this comes when you first get it, and I'll show you pretty much what I had to go through to get it to this point. Now the GlassHarrier coming in very straightforward packaging. You will notice if you look at the front here, this is the 30-pound limbs. Keeping in mind, I already did get the 40-pound limb bow out of the box and started to set it up. But here, taking a look at how it comes to you, well, everything nicely protected and packaged up. And you can see here, first thing, well, Creative XP offering a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. That's one thing that's worth noticing. They are located in New York, so in the United States. Now, not that all their products are made in the United States. However, all of their customer service is located in the United States. So they do take it very seriously. And from what I can tell so far, they've been doing a very good job servicing their customers. Now here, this here is a bow stringer. So this is actually a little bit instrumental in getting this strung. Now you don't necessarily need it if you know what you're doing, but I can tell you this does work very well. We'll get into this in a little bit. Here are your sets of limbs, so all packaged up. I'm just going to pull off this packaging as we go through this. And as you look up close in detail, you'll notice that this says 30 pounds, 28 inches. Well, I think it's pretty cool. They kind of actually like hand write this on there. And then inscribed down here, this says 179.5, which 28 inches measures from the bottom of the limb where it attaches to the handle all the way up and curving around to the tip. So if you were to measure along the radius there and along the limb, that is your 28 inches. So again, the GlassHarrier, nicely done. You can see all the different layers. Now, I'm not exactly sure what material this is, but it is laminated. It's probably some sort of a composite, and then there's wood layers on the inside. I did not seem to find any information specifically about that. But again, these here being those 30-pound limbs. So it'll be interesting to see how these perform. I do see a lot of reviews that people have greatly enjoyed this, and in fact, this particular set people say has high value. So very nice quality to reasonable pricing, so high value. But here again, these are the limbs. Next here, the riser, which they seem to have done a very nice job. This is a wood laminate. Again, there are a couple of different styles, but when you look at this, it is beautiful. I love the contours and just how nicely done this is. So again, it's like a wood laminate, just really nice. You'll notice this felt lining where the limbs connect. Nice, solid, sturdy hardware. It's very beefy, and I can tell you the threads are very nice. So beautifully done. Now, one thing to point out, and I'll get into it in a little bit more detail in a few minutes, but you'll notice that there are no sort of like pre-threaded bolt-on areas for sights or anything like that. I did talk with the people at Creative XP about that. They said you do have the ability to get this professionally tapped if you would like. So if you want sights, you can have these basically drilled at a professional shop, which is the reason why they do provide you with the sights. So out of the box on the wood version, you're not going to be able to use these. You can use these with the aluminum version, but again, not with the wood version. But if you did choose to get your riser professionally tapped, you could certainly do so. I believe these are like little dampers that you can add to the string just to help to cut down on vibration. I personally don't really know exactly what you do with this, but I'm sure I will learn. And if you have some ideas as to what you would do with these, certainly weigh in below. Taking a quick look here, looks like little leather straps and then just some fur. Now this here is a finger tab. So I guess it helps you to grip the arrow and the string and then release properly. I think you grip it probably in one of a number of ways, but pretty much like this with your fingers, and you can see there, get the arrow kind of in between your fingers as you're grabbing onto the string, and then also the arrow at the same time. So not too sure. I will definitely have to practice my technique, that's for sure. Again, if you have information about how these things all work, certainly feel free to weigh in. I would love to hear it. So if you have any links to other good YouTube channels or videos or any setup advice, I would definitely like to take that. And when you look at the instructions, that's one thing that if I had to sort of nitpick a little bit, unfortunately, it doesn't give you like a parts breakdown. So, I mean, it just kind of gets right into assembly of the limbs and then your string, and it gives you some indication on that. But as you get further along, it really kind of turns into more of the arrow rest assembly for the aluminum version and not the wood takedown version. You know, again, gets into some of your sight alignment, but for the aluminum version, and then, you know, the stabilizer, which this doesn't even come with the wood version. And just as you kind of pick your way through, it kind of leaves you just asking some questions. So do you have the ability to kind of, you know, guess on this? Yeah, sure. But again, I'm sort of new to this, so having a little bit more help in the instructions for me personally would be great. So unfortunately, the instruction leaves me a little bit lacking in terms of my ability to speak to you on how to set this up the rest of the way, but I know over time I will definitely learn. And if you were kind of fresh right off the get-go, and I don't know if these are still available, but they were offering some free carbon arrows. I'm sure everybody grabbed these up pretty quick. And last but not least, inside, some targets, which is pretty awesome. I will probably burn through these fairly quick, but nice that it comes with them. And it looks like they offer 5. So 5 targets coming with the kit, and that is definitely pretty cool. And so one thing I can definitely add at this point is some advice moving forward as to how to get this strung. Super easy. Now, again, keeping in mind that Creative XP does offer this bow stringer that comes with it, and it's very effective. It's actually really nice. Yeah, pretty straightforward. You're just going to bolt the limbs on. There's an upper and a lower limb, and as you can see here, the fit and finish is fantastic. taking a look at the fact that everything is just beautifully done, mates up perfectly, no gaps, nice and flush, no lips, just very nicely done. And that's the case all the way around the limb on both sides. So the upper and the lower limb, absolutely beautiful. And they are different shapes, so there's no real way you're going to mess this up. You pretty much just bolt these right in. Works very well. There's a little pin that indexes here to hold the limb, and then you just bolt that right in, no problem. It even comes with a tool which you are going to need to make sure you keep track of this, because in reality, where this is a takedown bow, you do have the opportunity to break this down and pack it up if you don't want to leave it all assembled. So you will need this to get it completely assembled or disassembled, so certainly don't lose that. But then once you get the limbs bolted up, which again, very easy, at that point you're grabbing your bowstring. Now this is again a very simple process. First thing I did was I took the upper loop, which on the bowstring there's a large loop and a small loop. So you take the large loop and you just put it nice and loose over the top of the limb. At that point, bring the smaller loop over the lower limb. So here you can see I got that nicely into place, and you align it right down the groove. If you look here, there is a groove on the limb that kind of holds that in place, so no problem there. And again, this string is nice and loose. So at this point, for storage and the ability to prevent leaving these limbs under tension for too long, you do want to store this either loose or fully broken down. So here in the loose state. Now, how do you get this tight? Well, there are different techniques, but today all I'm really going to talk about is using the bow stringer. So again, the bow stringer provided with this kit, you end up with a larger sort of, it's almost, looks like a finger guard, but this goes over the end of the limb. So one's larger and one is smaller. And the way I approached it is, well, the side that you've already looped and have in place, you put this larger sort of cup over the top. So the larger one going into place there. And then on the other side, you're going to put the smaller cup. So pulling this up and dropping it into place. And what you'll notice is when you do that, the groove is still exposed. So theoretically, you can still get the bowstring into its proper groove on the limb. And again, very simple as I demonstrate this. You may want to decide which hand is stronger or more coordinated or whatever. But in essence, all you do is literally stand on the stringer, pull this up, which is going to flex the bow. At this point, you can slide the string down and into place, relax it, and you're done. Very simple. You can remove the stringer, and that was mighty nice. And now to get this broken down again, you just go in the opposite direction, and you can get the tension off of this. And you'll notice the string fitting perfectly in the grooves on the limbs, both on the upper and the lower. Very effective. You're not stressing, it's not difficult, and it's pretty easy for even people who are not quite as strong. And that's the nice thing about the way that stringer works. And so at this point, again, this is the 40-pound setup, which I'll be practicing and learning with and continuing to set up, figuring out what all those other components are going to do. Probably not going to get into the sights. Going to work a little more sort of natural here. But at the same time, I'm pretty excited to check out this GlassHarrier and actually get out to the range. So all right, guys, there you have it. The GlassHarrier Recurve Takedown Bow from Creative XP. Very cool, absolutely awesome. I am excited to give this a try. I cannot wait to get out in the field. And so, as I mentioned, I am a novice at this. Do me a favor, leave some comments below. Help me get through some of the setup. Help me get into some of these details. I know I'm going to need it. So I'm going to be doing a bunch of research myself, getting ready to get out to the range. So in a future video, you are definitely going to see this at least once, if not a few times, as I get out, as I practice, and I really get hopefully at least a little bit into the sport of archery. And so to Creative XP, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate the opportunity and really to help me advance. And to the rest of you, if you like this content, do me a favor, take a look at my Outer Limitless 2 channel, which is more of the firearms and tactical side of gear. If you like this content, that channel at this point, it has a whole bunch of videos out there. So if you like my Outer Limitless YouTube channel, I'm hoping you're going to like Outer Limitless too. So all right guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.